Hi there, this is Josh from Literary Gladiators, and today I'm here with a book haul. This is a book haul from the University of Chicago Press's Winter of 2019 book sale, and the books were as much as 90% off, and anywhere from $5 to $20. I only got one book that was more than that because it was something that I wanted to add to my book collection. And I bought 12 books in total. So let's get right into it. The first book that I got, and these are in order of size because that's how I have them stacked. But first one that I got is Are You Really a Genius? Timeless Tests for the Irritatingly Intelligent. And this was put together by Robert A. Streeter and Robert G. Hoehn. And I thought this would be a good way to get my brain working. I like these kind of books where I quiz myself and see how well I actually perform. I should actually keep a notebook of my results for this, so glad to have it. And these are going to be in order of smallest to largest, because if I was to get any smaller, the last book would probably be this big. So we don't want that. Next one that I got is First World War Poems from the Front, edited by Paul O'Prey. And as the back of the book denotes, this includes poems from iconic soldier poets, nurses, a medical orderly, and an army chaplain. And the people that contributed to this collection of poetry include Rupert Brooke, Charles Sorley, Robert Graves, Siegfried Sassoon, Mary Borden, Jeffrey Studdert Kennedy, Edward Thomas, David Jones, Isaac Rosenberg, Vera Britton, Wilford Owen, Lawrence Binion, Edmund Blunden, May Cannon, and Ivor Gurney. The next book that I got is Chocolate, A Global History by Sarah Moss and Alexander Badenoch. This is part of the Edible series that includes histories for so many different kinds of edible items. It also includes alcoholic drinks. I was tempted to go overboard with regard to the series, and I saw that there was a cheese one, but it wasn't for sale or in stock, so I went for chocolate. And I'll be interested to learn more about the historical background behind chocolate. The one thing that I do know for sure, though, is that chocolate is, in its natural state, bitter like dirt, and it's the sugar that makes it sweet and rich. The next book that I got is The Cockroach Papers, a Compendium of History and Lore by Richard Schweid. And The Cockroach Papers is a background about the cockroach and its impact on society, and also gives us the perspective of the cockroach in its very own background. We learn more about the makeup of this creature, and also a reminder of we need to think before we make judgments as to which kind of creatures cause damage and destruction to their society. But Richard Schweid is someone I want to get into as well, because I did further research and saw that he wrote about eels, the octopus, And he even wrote about peppers, so I'm very curious to look into him some more. This is the only one that I got that was not on sale, but I wanted to include more plays into my book collection, and these are contemporary Polish plays. And so I got Loose Screws, 9 new plays from Poland, edited by Dominika Laster, and translated by several writers. There are 9 plays in this collection that include The Files, Eat the Heart of Your Enemy, Helver's Night, Daily Soup, The First Time, Let's Talk About Life and Death, Made in Poland, A Couple of Poor Polish-Speaking Romanians, and Loose Screws. Loose Screws being the title of this collection as well. The next book that I got is Tippecanoe and Tyler Too, Famous Slogans and Catchphrases in American History by Jan R. Van Meter. And this book explores so many different slogans and phrases and their historical context and what may be their mythical pumping, per se. There's the whole, the fact that Tippecanoe and Tyler Too was a campaign slogan that, despite the fact that it would become the battle that William Henry Harrison was known for, it was not the battle that he excelled the best. It is not the battle in which he saw his greatest moment. There's also slogans like "Give me liberty" or "Give me death." The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Buck stops here, and so many more. This is definitely something that caught my attention. I've been really getting into microhistory, which you could see with works such as Cockroach Papers. I'm just interested to learn more about anything and everything. While there's areas that interest me the most in general, there are just things that I want to learn more about, and books are the best way to do so. It's a great sense of infinity. With that being said, the next book that I got is Manhood, The Rise and Fall of the Penis, by Mels van Driel. And this was and it was translated into English by Paul Vincent. But Van Driel is a urologist and a sexologist, so this book has to do with the this book has to do with anything you need to know about the male genitalia. Not just the sexual, but also the clinical, the historical, and the factual. This is something that anybody that wants to learn more about the male genitalia should explore. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really curious to see what it's all about. I've seen people, I know that I've seen female booktubers sharing things about vaginas, and one of them actually showed a book where there are pictures of a vagina on the with inside the book, but it'll be interesting to see what this book is all about. The next book that I got is The Dancing Bees by the Dancing Bees, Karl von Frisch, and the Discovery of the Honeybee Language by Tania, Munz. And von Frisch was only a quarter Jewish in Nazi Germany, but he had enough Jewish in him to be stripped of his rights. But he claims that these bees and the research that he engaged with them during the Second World War and during the Holocaust is what saved his life, because beekeeping and bees were essential to, they're essential in general to a population's ability to survive. But there was a bit of a crisis within Nazi Germany, and von Frisch's research allowed him some time and eventually the ability to survive. The next book that I got is Elephant Don, The Politics of a Pachyderm Posay by Caitlin O'Connell. And Caitlin O'Connell is known for Caitlin O'Connell has a great deal of background in her research on elephants and their way of living and their psychology. And Elephant Don pertains to the form of leadership that they operate, and she does particular research on a select group of male elephants. Next book that I got is D-Day Through French Eyes, Normandy, 1944, by Mary-Louise Roberts. I got the voices from D-Day a while back, but this is quite an interesting account. I'm really curious to learn more about D-Day through the perspective of the French, because it was the French that were invaded by the Nazi forces, and in 1944, one of the great moments from the Allied forces was the moments that took place on Normandy Beach on D-Day. So I'll be really interested to learn more about this event from another perspective. Next book that I got is Of Beards and Men, The Revealing History of Facial Hair by Christopher Oldstone Moore. And this has to do with all forms, anything that you want to know about the beard, whether it be the trend of a shaggy beard making its way back into society. I know that the big thing now is the man bun with the bushy beard, and but also exploring the beard historically too. I know that during and after the Civil War, having a beard was a very valiant thing, and you can see from the presidents that served. This is definitely something I want to learn more about, because it's just an interesting, random subject. And the last book that I got is Culinary, Herbs and Spices of the World by Ben Eric Van Wyck. And in this collection, you simply learn it's simply an encyclopedia, or it's simply an encyclopedia with pictures of all different kinds of herbs and spices, a description of them, the plant itself, the origin, the cultivation, the harvesting, the flavor, the culinary uses, and just any additional notes. So, I always think that something like this is valuable. Alrighty, let's see if I can do this. Alrighty, here are the books that I got at the University of Chicago Press book sale of 2019. I definitely want to take part in more of these book sales, especially if there are more books and more interesting books that come to my attention. Thank you for tuning into this video. I hope you check out some more videos from our channel. And for now, I encourage you to keep reading.